morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you in the sixth episode of my live brand impact, uh, the talk, actually. For those of you who are joining me for the first time today, this is a live that I've launched since the publishing of my book, Brand Impact Through Consumer Insight. And Brand Impact Through Consumer Insight is a book I wrote to actually help and support decision makers and marketing managers and people who have to make mostly marketing decisions on how to use market research and how to use consumer insight in making decisions that will enable their brands to have an impact and to grow, not only as a brand but also as a company. So welcome again to my episode 6. This is our sixth rendezvous, weekly rendezvous that we've been having since the publishing of my book. And today I'm going to be talking about a crucial and a very important subject, which is brand experience. I believe when you hear brand experience, you feel like it's a huge thing. It's big. Brand experience is actually the culmination of all the interactions that your consumers and your clients can and will have with your brand and your product. So brand experience is not a simple thing. It's actually on my book. It's the chapter 7, and it is the longest chapter because it includes a lot of things. It's not one thing. It is the whole experience. It's the whole touch points, all the interactions that a consumer, that a client will have with you and with your brand. It goes from the first time they know about you, the first time they hear your name, the first time they hear your brand, to the time they're gonna buy you. But not only that, they become loyal and they start recommending you. And you need to make sure that all those interactions, all these points, all those touch points are consistent, and that you are delivering a brand experience that is consistent throughout the journey of your consumers. In my book, I have simplified it, in a very simple, linear way of presenting it, which we can call the funnel as well. Some people call it the growth funnel. Others call it the brand funnel. We can call it also the consumer journey. It is a linear way of presenting it, but believe me, it is much more complicated than that. We put it on a linear way just to simplify it so that you can actually have a hand on it, and that you can measure how you are doing in a different phases of your consumer journey. But it is much, much more complicated than that. As I said, it starts from the awareness till the recommendation, and it's a lot of touch points. And some touch points interact with, actually some of the touch points, like the communication, can have a role in the awareness, but it can also have a role in the recommendation and in the loyalty. And you need to make sure that with whichever touch points you are in, and whichever touch point your consumer is interacting with you and your product, is delivering that message, or delivering that experience, and delivering that feeling, that emotion that you intend to deliver to your consumers and clients. And here I'm going to go back to one of the early subjects I've talked about, which is brand strategy. I will never ever say it enough. To me, brand strategy is essential, and I've explained on my previous episode 5, and you can go and find it on my LinkedIn profile if you want to watch it again. Why did I put brand experience as brand strategy as the first step in building a brand? In my AIM framework, on the implementation phase of my AIM framework, even before innovation, even before creating the product. To me, brand strategy is key because it is the glue. It's the container of all that will come after that, all what you're going to deliver to your consumers, which is effectively your brand experience. If you have built a strong brand strategy, if you have a clear positioning, if you know and you have, somewhere written what we can call a brand book, for example, or just, a manuscript where you wrote how you want to present yourself, how you want to position yourself to the world, to your clients, and you are clear about the tone of voice, you are clear about how you want to be in the different touch points, and that's part of, building a good brand strategy. Your brand experience, or managing your brand experience, will become easier to you. As I said, a brand strategy is the basis of having a good brand experience, because the brand experience, again, is, all the touch points, all the interactions that your consumers are going to have with your brand and your product, and you need to make sure they are having the same experience, the same excellent experience that you're intending to give, be it, if they're interacting with your communication digitally, or they are in the shop and they want to pick your packaging, be it when they're experiencing your product, you're delivering, what you've promised, be it, when they're discussing, or they are within, it depends on where, let's say you're a service, when they are talking to your customer service team, when they are interacting with your website, when they are talking with your, interacting with your chatbot, the experience should be consistent. They should feel the same no matter how and where they are connecting with you and with your brand. And that is definitely not an easy thing to do. It is very complicated to make sure that you are consistent across the touch points. It is very, very easy for one interaction to actually impact negatively the whole perception that your consumer can have about your brand. It doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how much effort you make. If one touch point is not consistent, if one touch point is not delivering up to the promise you are making to your clients, it can actually impact negatively how they perceive your brand, how they feel about your brand, and it can negatively impact definitely your performance and your growth. So, as a decision maker, you need to make sure that across the touch points, your experience is the same, is up to your promise, is consistent, and it's repeatedly consistent. It doesn't change with time. It doesn't change when we change the touch points. And brand experience, as I said, starts from awareness. So how can market research help you with that? Market research can help you with throughout the funnel, throughout the consumer journey. Market research is there as a support to make sure that you have a good understanding and a good control over the brand experience of your consumers across the touch points. As I said, starting from the communication, making sure, again, you know who you're talking to. And let me open a parenthesis here about consumer-centric, because this is something, and you might know that I'm on market research for the last 21 years now. And I've worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients, and I worked with different projects, different industries, and believe it or not, up to date, I still find, and I'm talking here about big companies, I'm not talking about small and medium companies, I'm talking even about big companies in different sectors that claim to be consumer-centric. And when you ask them about who are you selling to, who is your target market, and here I'm just asking the question about demographics, they don't have an answer to that. Believe it or not, and it's not only in small markets, even in big markets, some companies up to date who claim who are consumer-centric cannot answer the question of who is your client, who is buying your products. And here we're talking only demographically. If you're in a B2B market, you need to know, is it women? Is it majority women, majority men, or maybe a mix? How old are they? What social class? What's, economical class? What's, let's say, life stage they are at? A lot of clients up to date are not able to answer that question. So I just wanted to open this parenthesis because This is very important. Again, and I will never say it again, please understand who you're talking to. Start with the basics, start with the demographics, starts before even going to the emotional needs, to the functional needs, to the social needs that you will definitely need to build a strong brand. Understand the demographics, then go to the psychographics, and then go to the needs of your clients and consumers. So if you want to be consumer centric, first of all, define who you're talking to in terms of demographics. That's number one. Okay, so let me close this parenthesis about customer centric, but it's very important to know that today we need, first of all, to understand who we're talking to make sure the brand experience is, consistent. Who are we talking to? What are their needs? What are the tensions? And I had an episode just about that, identifying the tension. You need to make sure that you are identifying the tension. And you need to make sure that your brand, your offer is answering that tension in a way consumers will get it, will understand it. You need to make sure that you are adding value to your consumers and your clients' life. You're not just selling any other product. You are bringing value to them. You are solving their issues. You are solving their tensions. You are there to help them. You are there to support them. And you connect with them emotionally. They feel good when they're using your product. They feel good when they're using your service. It fits with their needs. It fits with their emotional needs. It fits with their functional needs. It fits with their lives. And for that, again, market research, understand them very well. And when you understand them very well and you start communicating with them, your message will not only be remarked, will not only be, noticed, it will resonate with them. It will connect with them. It will push them to buy you, to try you. And then if the product delivers, it will push them to use you again and again till they become loyal, till they prefer you over competition, till they start talking about you, till they start recommending you to others. And all that starts with understanding them, who they are, why they consume your category, what are their needs, what are their tension. I will never say it enough. Make sure it starts with an understanding. Delivering a good brand experience starts with a good understanding. We can only control the brand experience and the different interactions if we understand. If we understand. It starts with understanding. And this is what market research do. At least on the implementation phase of the AIM framework, because we're going to talk about the monitoring and making sure that what you delivered, is perceived as it's supposed to be, and you're doing good, and you are delivering your KPIs, and that's going to be on the monitoring phase. But on the implementation phase, when you want to deliver a good brand experience, you need to make sure you understand who you're talking to, what are their needs, and what are their tensions. I'm repeating myself, but believe me, it is very important, because I've seen big companies not doing that and trying to, push products to the market without a good understanding. So in my book, as I said, I represent the consumer journey, or let's call it the brand funnel, in a very linear way. It's actually vertical in my book, but that's just to simplify. It is much more complicated than that. A consumer journey is very complicated, and you need a lot of understanding to control it, to make sure that you are not alienating, or you are not missing a good delivery or a good interaction with your clients and your consumers. So market research helps with awareness, because you know who you're talking to, so you can have messages that actually relate with their need. You know what their needs are. So when you are talking, you are actually picking their curiosity. You are interesting to them, so they will remember you. They will remember your brand. It helps you build the awareness. It helps you build the consideration again here, because you are answering a need, you are answering an intention, attention. So when I have that need, I will think about you. So I will consider you. You will have a share of mind. You will be I will be predisposed as a client or as a consumer to buy your brand, because I can see that you are answering my needs, not only functional but also emotional. Then I will try you. And that, of course, in market research, it can help you identify where the consumers shop, for example, so that you can place your products in the right place, where, what kind of user experience you should give them so that they can actually click on the product and buy you. It will also help you identify, and this is very important, the right pricing. And I've talked earlier about the willingness to pay. The willingness to pay, again, just a little reminder, it's, how much your consumers value your product or your brand versus the actual price. And that difference, which should be positive, is your willingness to pay, is the willingness to pay of your, consumers, which means, which can be translated to purchases and market share and volumes. And I love to, pricing strategy is a complicated subject by itself. And I talk about it in my book, but that is, it can be a book by itself. And pricing strategy is not only a science, it's an art, because it is not about finance. It's not about facts. It's about psychology. It's about the value your consumers give to your brand. And it depends on so many things. So, and one of the key things is your brand equity, which gives value to your brand, which, position you in a certain pricing, let's say. So pricing strategy is also very important. It's a very important part of brand experience, because if you are too expensive, let's say, compared to the value that the consumers and the clients give to your product, they will not buy you. But also, if you are too cheap, they will also not buy you, because they will believe that you're not of good quality, you're not good enough for them. So it's a very important subject. You need to be to know exactly how much you value, and you need to make sure that you're building a good value so that you can price your product in the right pricing. It is also, as I said, about communication. It's about brand strategy. It's about packaging, how you package your product. It's most of the time, and for FMCG products, sometimes it's the packaging is the first touch point a consumer can have with your product. So you need to make sure that your packaging is actually aligned with your brand strategy, aligned with that experience you want to give, that image that you want to give to your clients and your consumers. So, as I said, brand experience is a very, very big subject. You can have more information about it in my book. As I said, it is the longest chapter of my book. It is very important for you to understand how to make sure that all the interactions across the consumer journey are consistent. And it starts with a good understanding of your market, and it starts with market research. So I encourage you to buy my book and read this chapter to be able to deliver an experience that is up to the expectations of your consumers, that because this what will make or break your brand and your company. Was very, very happy to be here with you today. I'm looking forward to our next episode, and see you soon.